All right, let's switch focus to markets then. Only 20 minutes to go for the trading session to end and also for the March series. On that note, let's welcome in our guest then. Pankaj Sharma, who is a market expert, is joining us here in the studio. We've also got on the technical side Amar Singh, who's joining us. Gentlemen, appreciate you both joining us today. And let me get in touch with Amar first and talk about the technical, since the March series is expiring just about in 20 minutes. Amar, it looks like the expiry could happen anywhere in that range of 91.80, but any chances do you see 9200 being touched today?
Yeah, overall the market has held its ground today, and today being expiry, the overall bullish momentum has still continued. So we are in the last 15-17 minutes of trade. So yes, there is a possibility that the market could spike up and close towards 9200, but that's a slightly psychological level also. But what is aiding the Nifty is also the bank Nifty, because we've seen a significant rally in the bank Nifty across the private space as well as the public sector banks. So that's somewhat which is definitely lending support. So we'll have to watch out. 91, if it consistently Nifty sustains above 9180, then yes, it could reach to the 9200 mark as well.
Possible, Pankaj, what's your reading of the market situation? So it's been a good month for the markets. It's been a good last 3 months. We've topped out thrice and we've held on to that. So minor correction, but we've held on to those levels. Is there inherent strength in this market going forward from here? GST now, July 1 looks to be a certainty as well. Are we looking at possibly 9500 and beyond?
See, I think it all depends on how the earnings season would pan out. So let's say when we start, let's say in a week's time, after that, it would depend on what kind of earnings we would see in sectors which are very, very critical. Of course, it would be important to look at how the IT would start reporting. Then there is, of course, IT has not been doing well as such in the markets, but in terms of its outlook for the next year, it would be very, very important, and whatever support we can expect from that sector would be more clear when the earnings season is underway. Also, some of the other sectors like banking, I think one very important thing which we can probably expect in a week's time is that there is some sort of news flow that might emerge on what is the government's game plan on the resolution of NPAs. And if there is something which happens in that direction, I think it would be taken positively by the market. So I believe that unless there is something which is drastically wrong with the earnings season, I believe that some way probably next 4 to 6 week market probably can give you a 4 to 5% kind of performance, but not 9500 as such. I believe that that is something which would depend on a very good earnings season.
While clearly, the point well taken, Pankaj, because the next trigger for the markets has to be from Q3 earnings, because the EPS growth in last 3 years for us has been pretty much flattish. It's been hovering around that levels of 400. That's the EPS for Nifty. But getting back to technicals, Amar, we've seen a sharp surge coming in for stocks like HDFC Bank and Punjab National Bank. In fact, almost 18 points gain can be attributed to the kind of surge which we've seen for HDFC Bank on Nifty. Nifty is up by about 31 points and majority of the gains have come in there. What's the outlook? Do you see further upside going ahead into the next series for the banking stocks, because they have been a major contributor?
Yeah, overall, as I said, banking stocks have really, they have shone. And also if you see the bank Nifty, it's up by almost 223 points currently, and HDFC Bank, as you rightly said, it's witnessed a significant rally, and also it's taken out its last month's high also in trading firm, and today has been a strong day. So now the major level to watch out for HDFC Bank, short term I am talking about, support is somewhere around 1430 to 1440. That is a zone of short term support for HDFC Bank. And whereas on the downside, major support would be around 1400 to 1405. So what we need to see is that if this rally in HDFC or the banking is to continue, banking sector is to continue, then we'll have to see further SBI also firing, because it has a resistance level somewhere around 295, 305 level. That's a level of resistance on the upside for SBI. So these two counters will have to fire and also sustain the gains which they have managed to hold so far. So and today's expiry, so we'll have to look going forward how from tomorrow onwards how the market takes its stance. And as rightly said earlier, that the earnings season is going to definitely impact the markets. So, but yes, the trend definitely remains positive and bullish. So any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. On the broader side, Nifty, I would say, has major support. The first level of support would be around 9,000 to 9,020. That's the immediate short-term level of support. Whereas on the upside, resistance is 9,200 to 9220. So that's a short-term level of resistance. If that is taken out, yes, we could head higher. But technically speaking, Nifty is showing some signs of consolidation from a short-term perspective. So clearly reflecting that higher side, we are going to witness selling pressure. Also, we are going to witness profit booking. So sustaining above 9,200 immediately could be, I would say, difficult. But yes, any pullback, any correction should be used as a buying opportunity. Till the time, I would say, short-term perspective, 9,020 level is held.
Right. Amar, Pankaj, just hold your thoughts. Interesting findings coming in, and this is from the Morgan Stanley Institutional Survey. There could be conviction bullish attitude towards Indian equities when compared to other emerging markets. That's the key takeaway coming in. Shail Damania joins us with the highlights of that report. Shail, just take us through the key findings of this report. Where does India stand when compared to some of the other markets?
Right, so when you're looking at the overall findings, it's quite interesting, and the bullishness clearly pretty much remains as far as the Morgan Stanley Institutional Investor Survey goes. When you look at the kind of views that they're getting out of this survey, they say that the investors' positioning and also the conviction levels clearly signal a bullish view towards Indian equities. They also go ahead and say that the investor survey indicates a rising level of bullishness towards Indian stocks, and 2/3 of the investors that they have gone and surveyed expect Indian equities to outperform emerging market equities. If you compare this to the September of 2016, the conviction level was low on India's outperformance, and that pretty much played out correctly back then. But now it's clearly quite a bullish view coming through. Also, the overweight position on India has increased to 70%, and the previous high which was seen was at 76%. This was in the first half of 2015. So again, clearly quite high levels of bullishness coming through.
Shail, and we are still waiting. Sensex has still not surpassed the previous record high levels. Any kind of target which the report highlights for Sensex?
So there are two targets. One is the target which is set out by Morgan Stanley, which is of 33,000 on the Sensex by the end of the year. As far as the survey goes, the survey really says that the year-end target is 31,385. Now, if you look at the kind of hits that this survey has got, you'll see that 48% of the people have gone and said that the Sensex level should be between 29,000 and 31,000. And again, 41% of the investors polled have this level of 29,000 and 31,000. So if you see that majority of these respondents, the levels are between 29,000 and 34,000, and that makes a major chunk of the answers. And hence, I suppose they would have gone and reached this Sensex year-end target of 31,385.
So that's a bullish outlook from Morgan Stanley. Shail, what are some of the key catalysts over here? What are the factors at play, and any strategies that have been discussed by Morgan Stanley?
So there are quite a few. Let's take a look at what they have to really say as far as the interest rates go. They've gone in and said that 2/3 of the investors don't expect any changes as far as interest rates go over the next 6 months, and 1 of 5 investors expects a 25 basis point rate hike. So that is one of the catalysts which has been spoken about. The other thing is when you look at the other catalysts, earnings is the one thing which really outshines. Almost 57% of these respondents have gone and said that earnings will be one of the major important drivers of the markets going forward. Now, when you're looking at strategy, 44% of the investors think that stock picking remains the best strategy, and another 35% think the this is a bull market, and they are buyers of equities as well. So again, this kind of shows a slight bit of a bullish outlook as well.
Right, Shell, and talking about the sectors, which are the sectors which are likely to contribute if they're saying they expect Nifty, Sensex at about 31,000, where is the leadership going to come from?
So let's start from the one sector which is not getting a lot of bullish views. In fact, it's quite a bearish picture out there. Telecom remains the least preferred sector, and there are no investors who expect telecom stocks and utilities to outperform as per the survey. Now, industrials is the most preferred sector, and there are no investors which expect private banks, consumer discretionary to underperform. So this is the kind of sectoral view. So slight bit of a bearish tone coming through for telecom in the survey, and positive view coming in for private banks, consumer discretionary and industrials.
Right, Shell, thanks for getting us that update. So that's a comprehensive finding from Morgan Stanley's institutional investor survey. Lots of key takeaways over there, Pankaj. They're saying that industrials is a preferred sector for investors. No surprises that telecom is the least preferred ones. But would you agree with that view? Industrials could be one of the key preferences going forward from here?
See, I think this is something very strange and interesting about industrials. Whenever there is a situation that you expect economy to do well and there are a lot of structural reforms that are happening, the expectation is that there would be a lot of capacity addition that will take place and industrial would probably get a lot of tailwind and support. Unfortunately, that has not panned out this way. So when you look at the kind of capacity utilization we have today in industrial space, it's still hovering around 70-72%, which is not really good enough to add more capacity. You at least need 77 to 80% kind of number to corporates to think about that kind of situation. Also, the corporate balance sheet. I really don't think that we are at a level today where corporates would think about a lot more capacity addition. So whatever has to happen in industrials probably has to happen because government would probably spend a little more. But I would not probably agree with industrials as a top pick as such.
It's quite interesting, Deep. And Pankaj, as you rightly mentioned, there was a report by Morgan Stanley a few days back where they had downgraded the larger banks and they prefer the smaller lenders. And one key point there was that the credit offtake from the industrial segment is at the lowest point since 1971. So probably, as you rightly mentioned, capacity utilization of these companies is at lower level, maybe going ahead with private investment kicking in or with that growth cycle picking up. We could see some kind of growth coming in there from the industrial space, but we will still have to wait and watch because this was one space which was an underperformer. Amar, going into the April series now, any new record high levels would you be waiting for, because Sensex not touched that? And also tell us your key strategies. What would that be at this point of time?
Yeah, overall the bullish momentum definitely continues. So yes, in April definitely we'll see, we're most likely to see record highs being made because the structure, if you look technically, the markets definitely are strong. But as I said, the earnings season, that would be keenly watched, and those triggers, and also how the government works out the banks NPAs issue, because that's one issue which really keeps on coming up. But somewhere the way Bank Nifty, we are seeing the strength in Bank Nifty, and the way public sector banks as well as private sector banks have really rallied for the last this current series clearly shows that something is maybe there is in the offing, which is yet to be known. But the markets are reacting to it, and that's positive. So Bank Nifty could really lead the next rally if that happens. And technically, as I said, 9200 to 9220, that's the immediate level of resistance. If that's taken out, that's only 40-50 points from the current level. So overall, yes, the trend and the momentum, bullish momentum, definitely continues. As far as the strategies that are concerned, the first is a buy on LIC housing. LIC housing finance, that can be a buy in the range of 620 to 623 with a stop loss of 612 and a target of 645. It has witnessed a one-sided rally, and technically it's very strong on the charts. So any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. The second is Bank of Baroda. What we've seen is that Bank of Baroda today also it has rallied, and trading firm close to 153 levels or so. So Bank of Baroda is one opportunity which can be looked at, and there is another one on Castrol. Castrol can be a buy in the range of 427 to 430. And the stop loss there is 419, and the target is 447 for Castrol. It has overall witnessed a sharp rally in the last couple of days, and the overall trend remains positive. And the last stock that I recommend is HUL, Hindustan Unilever. It can be a buy in the range of 916 to 918 with a stop loss of 894 and a target of 950, because overall there also the structure remains positive and any dip should be used as a buying opportunity.
So lots of interesting trading ideas there coming in from Amar. Amar, anything that you like from the real estate pack? We were just talking about this a little earlier as well. It's been one of the marked outperformer, not only for the month of March, but also for the year. The index is up by about 30%, and within that, a lot of your mid-cap names, Purvankara, Kolte Patil, Prestige Estates, DLF even, have seen extremely smart gains. Any trading ideas in the real estate pack that look good to you? It could be from a short to medium term.
Yeah, overall HDIL has witnessed today it's witnessed a major breakout, because the key level of resistance for HDIL was somewhere in the range of 80 to 80.5, or so currently it's breached that and is trading very firm around 82 levels or so. And technically speaking, it's very strong on the daily and the weekly charts. And the best is that on the monthly it's in oversold, so clearly reflecting that the downside definitely seems to be limited. And it has a major now support zone somewhere in the region of 76 to 77, and the upside it could the way it has rallied, it can really touch 92, 93 levels. So that's a good I would say bet in the real estate sector.
Right. Pankaj, any themes that according to you may work in the longer term? Because we've seen the rice stocks doing well. Last week, the paper stocks were doing well. And also a lot of other themes which have worked out in the broader market of late. Any theme according to you which where we can see a significant amount of gains coming about?
So I think one interesting theme that could probably emerge is that after GST is implemented, there would definitely be a shift from unorganized space to organized space in many sectors. It would probably include logistics. It would also include some of the consumer facing industries where there is a significant presence now for the unorganized sector. So apart from the GST linked shift from unorganized to organized, which could be an important play in like 12 months or so. Other than that, probably again I would say that the consumption theme is probably going to drive the market one more time, because I am not very hopeful about the infra industrial space in general. Other space also you are seeing that is struggling, maybe IT, pharma, even telecom. So the only thing which can happen in next 12 months or so is perhaps the consumption space, maybe autos, FMCG names.
Consumption, that's the key one to watch out for. Pankaj, appreciate you joining in our studios today and taking us through your reading of the markets. Amar, just hold on. I'll take one last question from you before we let you go. But markets closing trade right now at slightly above 91.50. That's where we are expiring for the March series. And it's been a good series for the markets. So good gains coming in. And like we said earlier, record highs were hit on 3 separate occasions. Nifty rollover at 64%. Bank Nifty rollover at 69%. That's at the end of the March series. Stocks that have looked good today, Adani Ports, and this one just built on the gains that it saw, closing up over 6% in trade. Eicher Motors, and this one also picked up momentum just in the last hour of trade with a smart gain of about 2.5% coming in. GAIL had a good day of trade. HDFC Bank, IndusInd Bank, both of these stocks did well. In fact, the Bank Nifty hit a record high above those 21,550 mark. In fact, very close to 21,600 marks. So that's the Bank Nifty for you. Ambuja Cement was up in trade, as also Grasim Industries, Cipla, Mahindra and Mahindra, Tech Mahindra, all of these counters having a good day. Even RIL participated in today's rally, up by about 0.9%. Stocks that didn't look good, Idea Cellular, and this is the last time it's being checked in the Nifty market check, because come tomorrow it will be excluded from the Nifty, and a BHEL. Both of these will be out, will make way for an IOC and an IB Housing Fin. Coal India was down by about 1.5%. Bosch took a knock as well. Tata Steel, ONGC, Axis Bank, that trade reversed after the sharp run up recently, because there is no merger with Kotak Mahindra Bank on this one. Power Grid, Hindalco, Tata Motors, HCL Tech, Infosys and NTPC were some of your other losers in trade. Good day for broader markets as well, Navneet. The small cap index, in fact, adding about 1% today.
That's right. Smaller cap index saw a good amount of gains, and that was basically owing to stocks like Cera Sanitary, which is up about close to 11%. Once again, you had Arihant, which registered gains of nearly 10%. Other than that, a lot of other stocks actually. Arshia, Bata India did pretty well. In fact, we've seen rollovers for Bata. They've been pretty on the higher side as well. CCL Products surged about 4%. You had Atlas Cycle, which surged 4%, 5% actually, and that was the upper circuit limit for Atlas Cycle. But have a look at the mid-cap index. That was up by about 0.4%. Couple of gainers coming there. Your top gainer was Torrent Power, which surged nearly 6%, and that stock has been doing well since last few trading sessions. ABB is the other stock which gained nearly 4.5%. Blue Dart gaining about 4.2%. Rajesh Exports, Procter & Gamble once again up about 3% gains coming there about. JSW Energy is the other stock where some amount of gains were seen, and you also had India Bulls Housing. That stock saw a surge of about 2%. That will be included in Nifty with effect from tomorrow. The other group stocks of India Bulls, like India Bulls Realty, was your top gainer in the Nifty Realty Index. Let's also look at a couple of losers on the flip side. You had stocks like Emphasis. That was down by about 2.5%. In fact, the entire IT space was pretty much weak. Even the larger cap stocks like Emphasis was in the red territory. Besides that, IDBI was weak in today's session. Glenmark Pharma saw cuts of about 1.3%. You also had GlaxoSmithKline, M&M Financial, Tata Communication, as well as IDFC Bank. These were a couple of your losers from the broader markets. And Rane Group stocks pretty much did well. So you had the likes of Rane Engine. That stock was locked in upper circuit today. Rane Holdings, Rane Brakes. So the entire Rane Group stocks saw some kind of buying momentum coming about, and that's upper circuit on Rane Engine, which was up about 20%, and 3.5% gains coming in for Rane Holding, 13% gains for Rane Brake. Overall, Deep, the market breadth was pretty much good, about 2:1 on National Stock Exchange. The turnover was high. Only in the NSE F&O space, you saw turnover of about close to 9 lakh crore coming about, and that's basically owing to the expiry day.
So good trade on expiry day, and let's also highlight for our viewers, it's a record closing high on the Nifty above that 9160 mark at 9173, and it's just what 50 odd points away from a fresh record high for the markets. Amar, two questions really. Another record high possible considering the kind of momentum that we've had this week for the markets, and just to revisit the kind of levels that investors should be watching out for in the April series.
Yeah, overall, what I see is that technically speaking, Bank Nifty is the one that could really drive the markets further, because Nifty technically is not that strong from a short-term perspective. That's the reason we are seeing some, it definitely has bullish momentum, but I'm talking from a short-term perspective. That's the reason we are seeing some sideways and some positive movement. But Bank Nifty comparatively is stronger. So that would have to fire, I would say, going forward. And that could happen in the public sector banking space, quite possible. So what I see is that yes, we are in for record highs next month also. That is a very I would say high probability, because given the momentum that the market has witnessed and sustained even on the last day of expiry, clearly shows that there is buying interest. But yes, there is one caveat that a higher level, these are record levels, so there would be some caution. But overall, any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. Levels to watch out for Nifty, I would say, this I would talk from a short-term to medium-term perspective. The level to watch out for support is 8870 to 8900. That's a level, key major support level technically for the Nifty on the downside. Above that, as I said earlier also, 9000 to 9020. That's the first level that the market would definitely respect if there's some selling pressure. But on the upside, the market will definitely need to sustain, because there could be a blip, but whether the market closes above 9200 levels and sustains, that we'll have to see. But technically, as I see the charts, somewhere or the other sustaining could be difficult in the short term till the time we really don't see a major blast in Bank Nifty happening.
Right. Amar, well, in the March series, we've seen gains of about 2.6% coming for Nifty. Tell us, going into the April series, how is the FI setup looking? Well, they continue to be, net long on index futures. In fact, for the March series, we've seen on the cash side some money coming about. Earlier rallies were only about the DIIs. But going into March series, what do you think? How is the FI setup looking?
Yeah, overall, I would say the move of the government on the GST is something which is very encouraging, and I would say that really has a positive impact because earlier that was expected that would get delayed. But what voices have come out from the government today also clearly reiterate that they are targeting for July 1. So that's overall positive, and yes. FIIs could be looking at definitely would be looking at getting into the market. So, but I would say the earnings season is also the earnings reports also that also would be there. But yes, that trend will definitely be there, and FIIs should be in the buying mode. We'll have to watch out for that. But yes, again there is one point that I would like to add, that valuations are going to be important because. Yeah, valuations are going to be important because at these levels they'll have to look out for valuations and then only get into it. So that's one big question for them.
Fair point. Amar, appreciate you joining us as always. That's the market setup for you. Record closing highs coming in for the Nifty. Record high on the Bank Nifty. PSU banks are up for 6 straight days. 2.6% gain coming in the March series. So it's been a good month for the markets, Navneet.
That's right, Deep. In fact, tomorrow is going to be the last trading day of this fiscal year as well. So you will see a lot of NAV management, which we've seen off late. So expect some more DI buying coming. Interesting to see where we close our fiscal year tomorrow.
On that note, completely out of time, but don't go anywhere. Up next, Rising Stars, Shailesh Jacob. He's the founder at Loan Frame. He'll join us.